As I said earlier, artificial intelligence and data were two of the hottest topics for both government and industry at this conference, but they weren't the only topics. Olivia Koski, solution engineer at Orbital Insight, says there are a lot of technologies that are moving from theoretical to operational.
So I'm hearing a lot this GEOINT about the metaverse, this digital universe that parallels our own. That's no longer just a concept or an idea, it's being implemented, it's been operationalized, so we're starting to see government entities use the digital universe in their training and in their operations.
What are the areas where there is the most potential for expanded or scaled use of the metaverse, do you think?
It can apply to any type of situation where you really need to know specifics. You need to know not just that you're entering a certain type of building, but the very exact building that had work done on it 3 years ago, and being able to bring all those records together to understand not just a general use case, but your specific use case.
Mm-hmm. Is it primarily a modeling and simulation type approach now, or is it moving in different directions?
So I think synthetic data has trended to reality now as well. Mm-hmm. So it's generating synthetic data to the point where we have to make sure we can identify as users if something is synthetically generated or real. So I think that's a really critical piece of technology right now, is synthetically generated data.
So synthetic data to me is striking. It's kind of like jumbo shrimp, because data implies factual information, I think, in its definition. Synthetic implies it's not actual data. So what's kind of that knife edge look like on one side and the other?
Yeah, it kind of makes you start to question everything.
Yeah.
And you have to really start worrying about provenance of data, and also the analytics that you're applying to that data, and then the source of the data itself. So, and I think we're all, we've all kind of seen deep fakes, right? Celebrity deep fakes, and those have gotten to the point where it's hard. It can be difficult even for a trained analyst to tell the difference between something that's real and something that's not. And we see that a lot in satellite imagery as well. You can synthetically generate satellite imagery. And so if an analyst is looking at data that's synthetically generated and they don't know the source of it, they might improperly analyze it.
Mm-hmm. A fear that I've heard from people in that field is that this will turn into something similar to cyber, in that it's hard to stay ahead of the bad guys. The people generating those fakes can be better at it than the people who are trying to determine what's real and what's not. Is that fear justified, do you think?
I think it's a big concern. I think it's a very well justified concern. And I think what's interesting is, as AI has gotten more sophisticated, we're going to have to use AI to combat AI in a sense. Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes it even more important to understand how AI is generating the results that it's generating. And again, going back to the provenance of data, mm-hmm. knowing the source of data, knowing the source of information is critical, not just in analyzing that information, but it's the starting point. Bad data, bad analysis. Mm-hmm. Fake data, you can't rely on that analysis.
So is it going to boil down then to my data and AI is better than your data and your AI, and that's how I gain an advantage, or is there more to it than that?
I think that there's a little bit more to it than that, because it's not just I have good data, I know the source of my data, but I can identify data that has been corrupted or artificially generated, spoofed, or made to look like something that it's not. We've developed a number of tools that are able to identify geospatial data specifically that has been spoofed or interfered with. And that's really critical to know by the signal of the analysis that you have data that is bad.
Olivia, it's a great conversation. A little scary, I admit, but thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you.